Congratulations, Andrew. Proud of the fight back. How do you assess overall the game?
Yeah, it's a really... sorry, my voice is a bit hoarse. I'm yelling a fair bit tonight. We got blown away. First 10 minutes of the game, they put 4 on us, dominated territory for large periods of the game, but basically off that one period, and we couldn't really, after the first 10 or 15 minutes, every metric's really quite even, which is fascinating. But I thought we were up against it all night. We got smashed in centre bounce, and then we just couldn't get the ball out of our back half is essentially what happened. They're a good contest team. Everyone knows that. They're a good pressure team. They created 30 front half turnovers. And I think in the past, that game gets really a long way away from us. But the growth of our team is to fight. And we gave ourselves a chance to win that game, which is, somewhat pleasing in that aspect. But we just can't give any team a lead like that.
I think it's the 13th time you've been down at quarter time this year, so you've only won 3 of them. How do you rectify something like that that's clearly becoming a trend in the game?
Yeah, it's been a problem for sure, and we need to figure it out quickly because there's not an easy answer. There's not one answer. There's always been different reasons as to why, but ultimately we need to be in the game more at quarter time. I think we're proven to be a pretty strong running team now, and our ability to finish games is strong, which is an improvement. But yeah, too often it's been from behind the 8 ball.
What specifically was happening at centre bounce in the first quarter that you noticed that was, I guess, leading to them kicking goals?
Yeah, they scored 5. Ultimately, they scored 5-1 from centre bounce. We scored 0. They beat us by 10. It's the difference in the game. They just won the contest more. Their ruckman was very strong. I think he won 3 or 4 clearances himself, quarter 1. And I thought Bailey fought his way through it, adjusted some things and got better as the game went on. And the coaches changed some things as the game went on, and it gave us more of a chance. But I think with 2-11 at half time with 4 goals, it's a massive differential and something we've been okay at this year, but not good enough tonight.
What was your view on the skill errors tonight? It seemed like so often you'd have desperate efforts that you'd be really proud of, but it would come undone with the skill error. Is that something you have to ride as a developing team, or do you want that out of your game?
No, we're not going to accept. We don't accept it, and we were trying really hard. Like no one tries to make skill errors. We're working incredibly hard on it. We're training it. But yeah, there were some sloppy ones tonight, and we'll keep working on that.
Ollie, tonight you couldn't get near it even when he was in the centre bounces. How did you see that situation, and was there a reason why?
No, sometimes that happens. He's been a very good player for a long period of time. He had a down night tonight. But he's a competitive person. We'll find a way to get him to bounce back and recapture his best form.
There were long periods where he spent in attack and obviously the ball wasn't going there much early. What was the reason not getting him in the coalface when you were losing that battle by so much?
It's not too dissimilar to how he's played for most of the year, to be fair. But we didn't get as much territory in this game as we have. Yeah, our entries up to 3/4 time was not enough due to the reasons I spoke to earlier. So we just need to keep finding the best way to maximise Yowie and his strengths.
It felt like at times you were so desperate to get your hands on the ball that you just were kind of collapsing in on it, and Adelaide were holding their space, and that's when they were able to get you on the outside. Is that a valuable lesson for a young side to try and get that level of outside and inside correct?
Yeah, that's something we work on always, and I think that happened a bit, but it also it's got to do with how strong you are, how clean you are, the fumbles that spill out, and your ball security, whether you can stick tackles and break tackles. That's really what it's about, the contest. So I think Crows, everyone knows they're one of the best teams in that phase, and they were strong again tonight.
Seem to have found one in young Ollie. All right, Frankie?
Yeah, we got what we thought we'd get. I think we got 11 contested, 9 tackles, really competitive. He's going to learn a lot. He's still so raw in his game, and he hasn't played a heap of footy over the last couple of years, but we knew that we believed we got a really good player when we drafted Ollie, and I thought it was a great start to his AFL career.
And a bit of favour, I think you had him in opening bounce. Was he in the first bounce?
No, I think he was on the bench in the first start of the game. But early we trusted him. We trusted him in there. That's why we played him. We've seen enough evidence this year that we think he's strong in that space.
During 3/4 time, you had quite a lengthy chat with Elliot. You have to sort of talk us through what the message was then, and just to get
Yeah, look, not uncommon, but it was just some tactics that we were going after with Yowie involved in it. Ended up probably not being what we spoke about was not the way the last quarter played out in a good sense, but that's how it works. And I think every coach just speaks to their leaders and tries to convey the message as clearly as possible in those breaks. You only get a pretty short period of time. So, yeah, nothing too unusual.
How did you find Jack Williams' role? Looked in the first half, he was playing a defensive ruck instead of a forward ruck, and changed after half time. But how did you find that, not only for him but for the team? Because it's a different tactical shift, I'm assuming, when that handover comes in. You've got to be pretty switched on. Yeah,
it's a hard role back in second ruck, but I thought he did a really good job. I thought we just needed a bit more height ahead of the ball. A bit more contest ahead of the ball. So that was for the shift. We're lucky. We've got players that are flexible. We can move some magnets there at half time. And we did that. We put Dersmer on ball second half, and he had some impact, which was great. So and Hoffy went back. So we had some magnets that we had that we could use, and they were flexible for us. And I thought they were able to handle those changes well.
So I think he could be doing a little bit more in the future, that defensive backup ruck role?
Potentially, yeah. We need to be a little bit adventurous to how we figure it out at the moment, because obviously two of our guys that have played second ruck this year are not going to be playing for the next little bit, a couple of weeks or so. So we'll figure out what the best way to use Jack. Yeah, unfortunately we had to use him there. It was all the momentum was against us, but it's pretty rare for a first-year player to be asked to do that, right? We do ask a lot of this young man, and he continues to just deliver and learn about the game. I thought he had some impact in that second quarter when they scored quickly against us at the start of that second, and I thought he was able to help change the momentum of that game.
What do you make of that Jack Hutchison tackle at the start of the third? It seemed to just signal the intent that came in that second half, and then especially in the last quarter where you found that pressure that you built before the bye. Yeah,
Hutchie's, I think Hutchie's an enormous tackling machine, work rate, really important player for our team in that space. He's got speed, athleticism, and he loves to hunt the opposition. So, it was. I love that from him. But it's also what we expect from him and our other small forwards.
For Waterman to find his groove in front of goal, how significant do you think that could be?
Yeah, for sure. What do you end up with? I actually don't know. Three straight. Great. Yeah, that's awesome. It was. I had no doubt it was coming. Probably took a little bit longer than I'd hoped, but it was good for him to see a few go through, and he'll keep building his confidence on the back of that.
And the way he put his body on the line with about 6 minutes to go, how much does that lift the team and inspire everyone?
Yeah, it was an enormous turnover. He knew he probably was going to leave himself a little bit vulnerable, but he committed his body to the team, and that's what leaders do.
We're going to speak to you since selection. Elijah Hewitt obviously bring that to the waffle again. What are you looking from Elijah to improve on and get back in and be a bit more of a mainstay in that midfield? Yeah,
like I've spoken about this a few times. We're really clear. We're on great terms with Elijah. We're working really closely with him. He's completely clear of, what he's working on. And it's okay that he's 21, 22 years old and still finding his way. This is a really hard caper. We've got some pretty reasonable consistency through our midfield this year. They weren't at their best centre bounce tonight, but Elijah's going to be a better player for this little period that he's going through. He's determined to be a better player. He's working hard at his game with his coaches, and I'm certain that he'll come out of this and be better for it.
Jake all right?
Yep, he was all good. Yeah, he went back on.
Just cramp?
Yep, yeah, just cramp. So all good.
Thanks.